We have so far looked at what flipped classrooms are and why they are important. We will next look at the BodhiTree tool for enabling flipped classrooms. The BodhiTree tool consists of two parts, Bodhi book and Bodhi class. Bodhi book is an interactive multimedia book, and this is the interface which the student sees. If you look at various technologies which humans have used over the ages for imparting knowledge, there was a revolution which happened around 2 BC, which was the invention of paper as a technology. This radically transformed the way we stored and propagated knowledge. And the next revolution happened around the turn of the century when we had electronic books, PDF books, and so on. We believe that the next revolution in imparting of knowledge is when books become interactive multimedia books consisting of videos as well as embedded questions for interactivity. And this is how a Bodhi book is organized. We have chapters and sections just like in a regular textbook, but unlike in a regular textbook, we have videos and importantly, embedded questions within the video for interactivity while learning. If you are watching this video on BodhiTree, you have already experienced this interactivity part. If not, I highly recommend that you go to the BodhiTree website bodhitree.csc.iitb.ac.in and follow the necessary steps to watch this video on BodhiTree itself. BodhiBook also has various fora for discussion, chat with other learners and to track progress of the student relative to others. The second part of BodhiTree is Bodhi class, which is the instructor's interface for enabling a flipped classroom. This instructor's interface allows a teacher to specify the various material, lecture material, including videos for the students, when to watch which videos. The teacher can track progress of the various students, and it has various active learning elements such as practice problems. BodhiTree has a facility to conduct labs, and it also has an interface for programming problems which is relevant for computer science or IT subjects. Next, let us look at how the BodhiTree tool was used for conducting various flipped classroom courses at IIT Bombay. A flipped course using BodhiTree consisted of instruction before the classroom hour using the Bodhi book interface, where the students were asked to watch the interactive videos. So even in this supposedly passive form of lecturing, the videos, we had embedded questions to encourage interactivity and places where the students had to pause the video, think, understand the concept, and only then proceed. Aside from this instruction using videos before the classroom hour, during the classroom hour, we had problem solving sessions or tutorials. And this allowed us to provide personalized attention to different students. To elaborate further, this is a weekly plan for a typical flipped classroom conducted using the BodhiTree platform. Students were expected to spend about 5 hours outside the classroom, of which about 2 hours was time for watching videos and about 3 hours of independent study. And each student had a 1 hour tutorial session per week. This model allowed us to split the overall class size of about 100 students into smaller groups of about 30 to 35 students in each of the 3 groups, each of which met with the instructor for 1 hour a week during this tutorial session. During this tutorial session, we had various discussions, problem solving, as well as clarifications and doubts raised by the students, which the instructor would answer. When we initially tried this flipped classroom model, it wasn't quite a success. What do you think happened when we asked students to watch the videos prior to the tutorial session and come prepared? Well, as you can guess, most of the students came unprepared without having watched the videos, and this totally defeated the purpose of a flipped classroom. To fix this problem, we had to introduce a quiz, a graded quiz, which we conducted for 5 to 10 minutes during every tutorial session. And this quiz consisted of about 10% weightage of the overall grade. This then ensured that the students came prepared for the tutorial session, and there was active discussion and problem solving as part of the tutorial session. The outcome of this was what we called as PFC learning. P stands for personalized learning, where each student felt as if the instructor was talking just to him or her. More than that, the interactivity of the video meant that each of the students could get to answer the questions in the video without fear of embarrassment. In this sense, the interactive video was even better than a small classroom lecture. The focused small group tutorials meant further interaction between the students and the teacher, as well as among the students themselves. The learning was flexible because students could choose the time and place of learning in terms of watching the interactive videos. The students could also determine their own pace. Some could take more time, some could take less time. Some students could watch the video multiple times as needed in order to understand the concept. The fact that we had quizzes every tutorial hour meant that students were discouraged from procrastinating watching of the videos until the very end just before the exams. The learning was also complete because not only did the students watch the interactive videos, but they also actively participated in the practice problem solving during the tutorial hour, and they moved ahead only after mastering the concept. In the last few years, BodhiTree tool has been used extensively for various UG courses as well as PG courses at IIT Bombay. It has also been used in a Teach 10,000 Teachers workshop conducted at IIT Bombay. BodhiTree has also been used in various other colleges outside IIT Bombay. Let us now look at a formal evaluation of the BodhiTree tool by means of a student survey. In this survey, there were 63 respondents from a UG computer networks offering using BodhiTree and 225 respondents from the Teach 10,000 Teachers teacher training workshop. In the free-form feedback in the survey, some of the positives mentioned by the survey respondents were the flexibility. They appreciated the flexibility in terms of being able to watch the videos whenever they wanted and how many ever times they wanted. They also appreciated the fact that we had the problem solving session, the tutorial sessions in small groups, and the fact that we had various practice problems meant that they got good feedback on their understanding. BodhiTree also has a scoreboard for showing the students how well they performed in answering the in-video questions, and this engendered good, healthy competition among the students. Some of the negatives mentioned in the survey was that in the flipped classroom methodology, while watching the lecture, there is no immediate feedback. Doubts may not be cleared right away. We try to address this shortcoming by having explicit doubt clearing sessions during the tutorial hour. And as I mentioned earlier, when we initially tried BodhiTree flipped classroom, the flexibility offered meant that students lost discipline and they postponed watching of the videos, and the introduction of the in-class quiz helped address this issue. The fact that while watching videos, students should not lose attention needs careful design of the in-video quizzes. Also requiring careful design is the design of the tutorial problems to engender good discussions during the class. Here are some statistics numbers from the student survey. We asked the question of whether students felt the need for presence of instructor while watching the video. The median student felt that the instructor presence was needed only sometimes. Most students felt that the in-video quizzes were very helpful in understanding the concept. They also felt that the practice problems on BodhiTree outside the video were very helpful in understanding the concept. The second graph here shows the amount of time spent by a typical student on a typical 20-minute video. We see that a typical student spends slightly more time than 20 minutes for a 20-minute video. This is because it takes more time than the video length itself to absorb the concept and understand it and answer the in-video questions. We asked several questions comparing the students' perception of the flipped classroom teaching model to a traditional classroom model. They felt that the subject understanding improved because of the use of the flipped classroom teaching model, while the amount of time spent remained more or less the same. Importantly, students felt that their preparedness for exams was significantly improved because of the use of the flipped classroom teaching model, because they were constantly used to solving problems in the flipped classroom teaching model. And overall, they gave a positive score for the flipped model as compared to the traditional model. While the survey statistics give an idea of the perception of students of the flipped classroom teaching model compared to the traditional teaching model, do they actually learn better? To answer this question, we looked at the performance of students comparing two offerings of the computer networks course in a traditional model with two offerings of the same course in a flipped model. We found that the median student performed significantly better in the flipped classroom teaching model. So to summarize the comparison, the advantages of the flipped model are the flexibility as well as students being able to decide their own pace, the interactive questions as well as the problem solving. The disadvantage in terms of lack of immediate feedback needs careful addressing by careful design of in-video questions as well as the tutorial sessions. Here is a brief insight from the instructor's perspective on the flipped classroom teaching model using BodhiTree. The first offering of the course was significant effort because this involved preparation of the videos, editing them, as well as preparing the in-video questions and tutorial problems. On the other hand, all the subsequent offerings of the same course using the same material were a piece of cake. It involved very little effort because all the material was fully ready. So, are you ready to use BodhiTree for flipped classroom teaching in your own course?